It started on a quiet Sunday morning, the kind of morning that feels peaceful before life decides to turn itself upside down. I was in my small home office, sipping coffee, sorting through emails from work when I noticed a strange notification on my laptop. It said, "New device signed into your account." My first thought was that it was nothing. Maybe I'd left one of my tablets logged in. But when I clicked for details, my heart dropped. The location was my parents' house. For most people, that wouldn't mean much. But for me it meant panic. I worked as a cybersecurity consultant for a government contractor, someone who handled highly classified information, data that wasn't supposed to be seen by anyone outside certain circles. Even my family didn't fully understand what I did. I always told them I worked in digital risk assessment, which was vague enough to sound boring but technical enough to end the conversation. And that's exactly how I liked it. A few weeks before, my mother had asked me to come home for dinner. My younger brother, Jason, had just lost his job and was back living with them. It was a pleasant evening filled with laughter and old family jokes, and I didn't think twice when Jason asked if he could borrow my old laptop. I gave it to him. It was wiped clean, or so I thought. But that morning, when I saw the login alert, I knew something wasn't right. My family was poking around in my files, and they had no idea what kind of fire they were playing with. I tried to call my brother, but he didn't answer. My chest tightened. I logged into my company's secure network and began checking my data access history. That's when I saw it. Multiple failed login attempts from an unrecognized IP address. My heart pounded. It wasn't just curiosity. Someone was actually trying to open restricted folders. I knew those files weren't standard work documents. They were encrypted storage logs tied to a Homeland security project I'd been working on. Even an accidental attempt to access them would set off automated security triggers. I jumped into my car, adrenaline burning through my veins, and started driving toward my parents' house. The 2-hour drive felt endless. My mind raced through every worst-case scenario. My brother wasn't malicious, just impulsive and naive. If he thought those basic work files were just spreadsheets or boring government forms, he couldn't be more wrong. What he didn't know was that those files contained sensitive threat analysis data that required top-level clearance. When I pulled up to the house, I saw the garage open, my brother's car in the driveway, and my mother watering plants, completely unaware that her morning peace was about to vanish. I stormed inside, calling for Jason. He appeared from the living room, startled, holding my old laptop. "Relax," he said, rolling his eyes. "I just wanted to see if there was anything useful on this thing. Chill out." I snatched the laptop from his hands, nearly shaking. "Jason, what did you open?" He frowned, clearly confused. "Just some boring stuff. Some folders were locked, so I tried a few passwords, but it didn't work." "What's the big deal?" "The big deal?" That phrase echoed in my head. I didn't even have time to answer because that's when the sound hit us. Engines, doors slamming, and boots crunching gravel. My mother looked up from the garden as black SUVs pulled into the driveway. Within seconds, armed agents in dark jackets surrounded the house. The words Homeland Security printed on their vests glinted in the morning light. My mother dropped her watering can. The front door burst open, and a team swept inside. I raised my hands instantly, identifying myself. "I'm with the Cybersecurity Division, ID in my back pocket." I shouted. One of the agents, a tall man with sharp eyes, ordered everyone to stay still as they verified my credentials. When he confirmed my name, his expression softened just slightly. "We received an access alert tied to your credentials," he said. "We need to secure the area and ensure there's no breach." My mother looked terrified, her eyes darting between me and the agents. Jason stood frozen, pale as paper. I turned to him, my voice low and trembling. "This is what happens when you touch things you don't understand." The agents confiscated every electronic device in the house, laptops, phones, tablets, anything that could have touched the files. Jason tried to explain that it was an accident, but there was no undoing what he'd done. Even accidental unauthorized access to sensitive data was treated as a potential security breach. They escorted him out for questioning, and the sight of my mother crying on the porch will haunt me forever. Hours later, after multiple phone calls, statements, and security checks, The agents finally cleared the situation. They confirmed what I already knew. No classified data had been leaked, just accessed incorrectly. But even so, the fallout was immense. I was suspended from work for investigation, my entire digital footprint audited. The trust one had spent years building was hanging by a thread. When it was finally over, I sat alone in my car, staring at the reflection of my tired face in the rearview mirror. My hands were still shaking. The irony was almost cruel. I had spent my career protecting data from hackers, spies, and foreign threats. Yet the person who nearly cost me everything was my own brother. Weeks passed before I spoke to my family again. My mother called me every day, crying, apologizing, saying she had no idea Jason would do something so reckless. But I couldn't bring myself to go home. The betrayal cut too deep. It wasn't just about the files. It was about the fact that they never respected my boundaries, never took my work seriously, and now it had blown up in the worst way imaginable. Then one day, I got a call from my supervisor. He told me the audit was complete, and not only was I cleared, but Homeland Security had actually commended how quickly I reported and contained the breach. I was reinstated, with a promotion. I thanked him quietly, trying to hide the mix of relief and lingering bitterness. A few days later, I drove back to my parents' house. Jason was there, sitting on the porch, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. When I pulled up, he stood, guilt written all over his face. "I didn't mean to mess up your life," he said softly. I nodded. "I know," I replied. "But you did teach me something." He looked confused. "What's that?" "That trust isn't just about love, it's about respect. And once you break it, it doesn't come back easily." He didn't say anything else. Neither did I. I went inside, hugged Mom, and told her I was okay. That was partly true. Professionally, I was stronger than ever. Personally, though, I'd built a wall between myself and them that wouldn't come down anytime soon. That night, as I drove home, I thought about how strange life can be, how the smallest action, a few clicks on a computer, could spiral into chaos that changed everything. My brother had learned his lesson the hard way, but so had I. Never mix work and family, no matter how innocent it seems. And sometimes, revenge doesn't come through anger or punishment. Sometimes it comes through silence, through success, through moving forward while they're still trying to clean up the mess they made. Because in the end, I didn't need to yell or prove anything. Homeland Security had already made the point for me.